Seaside Band. Woo-hoo! You guys sound good. Hello, welcome. I invite you to come on in and take a seat. We're getting ready to begin service. We have plenty of time after service to look around the family room and see all our wonderful things that we have out there, our wonderful offerings. So before I begin announcements, I want to just take a moment to honor the practitioner that's holding the light for us today, Practitioner Rosedale. Thank you. Just a reminder that our practitioners are always available for prayer. It is our honor and our joy to pray with you. That's what we're trained to do. That's what we love to do. So please do not leave here with anything on your heart. Please do not leave here with any unfinished business. See a practitioner and receive a prayer treatment, a spiritual mind treatment before you leave. You can do that either by going to the chapel out these side doors where Karen is standing, and there will be a practitioner that will escort you into the room, to the chapel, or you can write a written prayer request back where Rosedale is sitting and put it in the prayer request chest, and we will pray confidentially over your prayer for a few weeks. So please know that you can do that. Also, this week in Inside Seaside, I noticed a wonderful article that is in there on what happens in a practitioner session. So if you've ever wondered what it is that happens when you go see a practitioner, this article tells you exactly what happens and what that experience is like. So please know that we are also available for sessions, and our phone numbers are in the program, and you can always just call for prayer too. So don't feel like you always need to call just for a session. So we have some summer stuff happening. We're in the middle of our Seaside Sizzling Summer, I think that's what the kids are calling it, the Seaside Sizzling Summer of Fun. That's what the Youth and Family Ministry is calling it. And this week we've got a few things happening in our youth ministry. But before I get into that, I just want to talk to you a little bit about a couple classes we have coming up. We have two of our last summer classes that are starting this week, one on Tuesday night and one on Thursday night. Tuesday evening is a 4-week enrichment class with practitioner Linda Light, Subtle Body, Clear Mind. You can sign up in the family room for that. Also, we have a second class that is beginning on Thursday night, Who You Came Here to Be. And it is my pleasure to introduce one of our brand new religious science ministers, Reverend Lori Mack.
Thank you. I am grateful to be here. And I'm honored to have the opportunity to teach a class starting this Thursday for 4 weeks from 6:30 to 8 o'clock. The class is called Who You Came Here to Be. And in this class, you will design your life, choosing to come from a higher purpose, knowing that nothing's ever against you and that life is always for you. You'll also participate in a 21-day process, retraining your mind to be connected to your wholeness under life-challenging situations. Now, the path to enlightenment is through spiritual practice. So you will be required to have a spiritual practice. Warning, warning. If you take this class, you will wake up to your magnificence of who you came here to be. I'll be in the family room after the service, and I would love to speak with you. Thank you. Blessings.
Thanks, Lori. Thank you, Reverend Lori. Now, let's see. I think we have some teens around here. Reverend Lori? Our teen? Oh, there you are.
Hi, this announcement and promotion is an audience participation, so please, please participate. You'll have a lot more fun, believe me. Hey, you know, Seaside is having its picnic next week. What would you like to see at that picnic?
I know exactly what I'd like to see at that picnic. How about those hamburgers, hot dogs, veggie burgers, cooked to perfection on the grill? Will Seaside have that?
The answer is...
Well, you know what I'd like to see? I'd like to see everybody out there bring a fabulous side dish, like baked beans or potato salad. Ooh, yeah. Now, will Seaside have that?
What I'd want to see Reverend Christian riding in on an elephant, dancing to Cole playing music. Will we have that?
Almost. Where's Reverend Christian? He's not here yet, so I think that he can agree to riding in on an elephant. What do you say? All we need for the picnic... All we need for the picnic is you. Will you be joining us next Sunday? Woo!
Thank you. They have fun over there with all those teens. Sharon De Leon's practitioner birthday today. Her birthday. She's a practitioner. Happy birthday, Sharon. We love you. Dr. Christian wanted me to remind you all to wear your picnic clothes next week. Wear your jeans, come casual, and stay and have some fun after second service. With that sense of fun and joy, would you please stand and greet your neighbor and remain standing for the congregational song.
Good morning, everyone. Please remain standing for the congregational song. There's some sign language to this song. Here we go. Follow along. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. I want you to turn to your neighbor and sing the song. Face of God, I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. Now turn to your other neighbor and sing it to them. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. Bob, why don't you play a little saxophone for me?
Turn around, look at the camera. Reverend Fran is watching us live streaming.
You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. We love you, Reverend Fran.
We love you. Hurry back. Hurry, hurry, hurry. We love you, Reverend Fran. Hurry back. We've got a spot for you. Hey, good morning, Seaside. What a joy it is to be among a lot of faces of God, which all of you are for sure. You're definitely part of me. Hey, welcome. Seaside is truly a awakening, loving community where you are truly welcome wherever you may be on your spiritual path. Know that there's a place here for you without judgment. We are here to care for you, love you, support you, and assist you in coming to a greater understanding of the abundance of your being and the divine expression that you truly are. And with that, in supporting individuals, there was this one I can remember when we first moved into Seaside. In my first foundation class, there was this, I don't know if timid is the right word, never was she timid, but this bright light by the name of Debbie McDonald taking foundation. And this last Wednesday, she passed her oral licensing exam to be a minister. And it's my joy to introduce to you the Reverend Debbie McDonald. Hey! And I'm excited to share with you that Reverend Debbie is going to take over the reins for our educational department, the classes that are going to be forthcoming. She's also going to head up our pastoral or our congregant care. So if you got an ache and pain, make sure she hears about it, and we'll be there for sure. Anyway, spirit is what Seaside has always been about. Healing has been the thrust of our movement since its conception. Expressing the wholeness of our being is what it's about, and so we start everything with spirit. And to take us into that deep place is a wonderful master practitioner, and that is Gail Manisholer.
So let's just take a moment and go within to the stillness. There is something within us, a divine essence that we absolutely sense within ourselves. I call it God. It is that infinite, eternal power and presence, the creator and the source that is everywhere present. It is within each one of us here, and each and every place and everyone all over this earth and beyond. And I know right now that I am one with this essence, and that each person here is also. And so I know right now today that this service is blessed with the musicians, our Seaside musicians, with our singer, Baby J, who is so wonderful. To hear Dr. Christian speak his message to us, so deeply moving and so emanating from him, his heart. And for Dr. Christina, who speaks her word and says keeps her deep presence within each one of us. I know this is the truth for us. I am so grateful, and so it is.
Good morning. My name is Rebecca Jade. I'm helping fill in for Reverend Fran until she gets back. And it's my honor to introduce a guest artist today. She is actually one of Reverend Fran's favorites, and she is a Sunset Music recording artist, multi-recording artist. She has 5 albums out, and we'll have some after the service if you're interested. And maybe I will. Is that what we get? Yes. So take all that I said and remember it, and I'll tell you that again in a second. God is great. God is magnificent. God is love. God is true. I am great. I am magnificent. I am love. I am true. We are great. We are magnificent. We are love. We are true.
Thank you, Rebecca Jade, for singing us in so beautifully. I think that's a song that our own dear Reverend Fran wrote, so thank you, Rebecca. And thank you, practitioner Gail Manashore, for praying us in so beautifully. And thank you all for being here and singing us in so beautifully for the congregational song, Singing to Our Dear Reverend Fran. Good morning. I'm Reverend Dr. Christina Tillotson, and it's my honor to welcome you if you're new to Seaside. We're so blessed that you're here sharing your light with us today. We have a special packet for you out in the welcome table outside, so please pick one up on your way out. There are all kinds of goodies and bookstore coupons and all kinds of stuff in there to express how truly, truly grateful we are that you are here. We have all kinds of things going on here at Seaside, and one of them is the Wellness Support Group, which you'll meet right after the service around 12:30. So whether you're 18 or 108, we invite you to come to the Quimby Room and just be supported in your vibrant health or dealing with any health issues you might have in your body or your mind and your spirit. And we're a very loving, supportive group. And here at Seaside, we're so blessed to have our new Reverend Debbie, and she's part of 20 new ministers who were licensed on Wednesday up in Santa Rosa. And so now we have 20 new ministers for the Centers for Spiritual Living all over the world, teaching that magnificence and that divinity within each one of us, teaching the fact that we are that we are all that light and that love of spirit, and that we take all the ancient and modern wisdom of the world and put it together in a way that not only enhances our own lives and the lives of all of those we touch, but truly, truly contributes to humanity awakening to its spiritual magnificence for a world that works for everybody. So thank you so much for being here and sharing this day with us this morning. Dr. Christian's talking about the red shoes today, a story by Hans Christian Andersen, and it's about letting go of your addictions so that you can experience that joyous spirit that you truly are in life. So I've chosen some readings about joy today from Alan Cohen's book, "That Joy is My Compass." Some of the most powerful prayers are happiness, joy, song, and laughter. Whenever someone loves, God is present on earth. The road to healing begins not with a blind leap outward, but with a gentle step inward. Joy is my compass. I'm taking the risk to follow my bliss. I'm making a start to follow my heart, and I'm ready now. Joy is my compass. It leads me everywhere I need to go. It shows me everything I need to know. It's my highway home to the kingdom. Joy is my compass. My spirit is singing. My heart song is ringing. The song of my soul is bringing me home. So let's take these ideas into prayer. Just turning to that place, just letting go of anything except the here and now, and that bliss and that light and that love and that wisdom of spirit that is through and as all of its creation. That one that created every single being, from the tiniest atom to the farthest galaxy, to every blade of grass, to every human, to every plant and animal and every star, out of itself, and is continually creating in that light and that love and that bliss, just for the joy of creating. That is all there is. There is no place where that is not, and no matter what the challenges of this world are, there is only God present in all of those challenges. And I know that I am that right here and right now, and each one here is that, a perfect expression of that light and that love and that bliss and that joy of spirit, sitting in these seats as Seaside, God in form, right here and right now. So I'm knowing out of this sacred time together that each one here is just guided to let go of any addictions, any challenges, any pain, anything that gets in the way of experiencing that bliss, that joy, that passion, that freedom of living life right here and now in the most joyous way possible. And out of each one doing that, it spreads out into this community, into this world, encircling this world in the light and the love and the joy of Seaside as God right here and right now. So for this bliss and this joy and this light and this love of this sacred time together, I'm so grateful as I release this word to the law, absolutely knowing that it's now done in perfect joy and bliss and love. And so it is. Amen.
Good morning. All right, so I'm going to say a couple things. You might have heard this before. I don't know. But it's my honor to introduce a guest artist today. One of Reverend Fran's favorites. She's a Sunset Music recording artist, multi-records artist. She has 5 albums out. She'll have some after the service if you want to support. She's critically acclaimed, and she just came back from a European tour. So please show your love and welcome Sweet Baby J.
You have to love Rebecca J. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for inviting me here. Don't you feel like dancing and singing? Hey, everybody, I think I see the light. See the light. I've been stumbling in darkness day and night. Whoa, you gotta give praise, and yes, you really gotta give praise, and whoa, you really gotta give praise, and yes, you really gotta give praise, and whoa, you really gotta give praise, and it feels so right. Come on, everybody. Look all around you, water, earth, and sky. Look all around you, water, earth, and sky. It's the beauty of creation that takes us high. Oh, you better give praise, and yes, you really gotta give praise, and oh, you really gotta give praise, and yes, you really gotta give praise, and oh, you really gotta give praise, and it feels so right. Come on, Lynn. Show out, show out. We twist and turn and sometimes wanna fight. Said we twist and turn, sometimes wanna fight. But the universe tells us it will be alright. Oh, you gotta give praise, and yes, you really gotta give praise, and oh, you really gotta give praise, and yes, you really gotta give praise, and oh, you really gotta give praise, and it feels so right. Come on, Bob. What it's about. This amazing grace, that's what it's about. Makes me wanna holler, jump, sing, and shout. Oh, you gotta give praise, and yes, you really gotta give praise, and oh, you really gotta give praise, and yes, you really gotta give praise, and oh, you really gotta give praise, and it feels so right. Let's shake it up, guys. Give praise, and yes, you really gotta give praise, and oh, you really gotta give praise, and yes, you really gotta give praise, and oh, you really gotta give praise, and it feels so right. Woo! 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 It feels so right.
Sweet baby Jay, oh my goodness, makes me want to dance. And that's tough. I guess to keep dancing is praise. And so, sweet baby Jay, we just praise you. We thank you. Driving up from LA to be here with us this morning. We just love you. So good, so good. Woo, all right. How you do that? Woo, woo. It just happens up here. I like it, I like it. Hey, anyway, okay, so here we are. We are in the midst of these folklore, all with impactful kind of endings and deep metaphysical meanings and stories. And this week it's called Trappings. I guess we could have called it Addictions. It probably should have been called by its real name, The Red Shoes. And the story, I don't know if it originated, but definitely was brought forward into our common culture through Hans Christian Andersen. His dad was a cobbler, and a lady brought in these red silks or material and asked her dad to make ballerina shoes with them. And he did, and she came back and she said, oh, these things are ridiculous, and just threw them back at him. And it sunk with him at a very deep level. And so he came forth with this story called The Red Shoes. And Clarissa Pincola Estes, the author of The Women Who Runs with Wolves, brings forth the story, but as her grandmother told it. And they used to sit around the dinner table at night, and Grandma would start off saying that, look at your shoes. You should be grateful for plain shoes, because one has to live very carefully when their shoes are too red. And then she goes on to tell the story of this little orphan girl who used to run around the woods in those days and take and grab whatever scraps that she could to survive with. And over a period of time, she got enough red scraps where she was able to make herself a pair of red shoes. Her first shoes, red shoes that she made with her own hands that she felt so good about. And one day when running through the woods, this beautiful gilded carriage drove up, pulled by the horse, and this old lady opened the door and said, come on in. I want to take you home and raise you like my very own daughter. And this girl got so excited. The stairs, went down, up into the carriage. She ran and off to a beautiful home and house, and this old lady cleaned up her hair and bathed her and washed her and gave her new, clean, white clothes. And the girl felt good and then asked, and where are my old clothes? I mean, in particular, my red shoes. And the old lady said, oh, those filthy clothes? Oh, I burned those. And those ridiculous red shoes? Incinerator. They're gone. To which the little girl was just devastated and crushed. And it's like, those red shoes she created with her own hands. I mean, that was her first really creative expression, bringing forth that feminine spirit of creation from within into the outer world, and to have it crushed. And then this lady said, you've got to teach you to be proper. And so she learned rather to run with the skip, but to sit and stay still, not to speak until spoken to. Couldn't, talk without being asked, stopped her singing, and was learned to be well-mannered, and her spirit was just crushed until the day in which her confirmation came at the church. Day of Innocence was its day. Now, those red shoes, I got to tell you, the shoes are symbolic in many ways. They're an expression of who you are. Your shoes tell a lot about you. But I mean, an artist's shoes are entirely different than an engineer's shoes. Or you go to the racetrack and you watch an entrepreneur and their shoes look entirely different than a beach bum's like mine, open shoes. Your shoes will tell a lot about who you are. And from the archetypal era, in the days of old, the rulers had shoes and the serfs didn't have shoes. And the shoes, symbolically or metaphorically, they protect what you stand on. And red is the vibrancy, it is vitality, it is life. It is also indicative of sacrifice. And so what are you willing to sacrifice to bring forth this life, this wild expression, this spirit that is within your soul? And as this young girl created her first shoes, they weren't a very good set of shoes. Give me a break. She was young. She'd never created shoes before. But who does the first go round really well, right? You've got to work on it. Her next pair would have been better than her first, I'm sure, and her next pair after that even better, until she began to do it in an excellent kind of way. When you first started something, your first artistic expression, your first written word, your first song, how spectacular was that? It may have been good. It was letting out your spirit. And what is important is to have somebody mentor in that kind of spirit, and not get caught up with someone who squashes it down. But along came this gilded carriage. Now, carriage, as you know, is symbolic of carrying you from one place to another, right? Follow that metaphor anyway. In consciousness, it moves you from one place to another. That was in those days. Now we have cars. If you're dreaming, you tend to dream more in cars than you do in carriages this day. So a big, long stretch limo drives up. That means one thing. But if you're dreaming of the hum of a convertible Ferrari, that's entirely different. One's not right and one's not wrong, but what this young girl had was this gilded carriage, and all of a sudden she was enthralled with this gilded carriage, this gold, this flash, this expression of opulence that allowed her to forget her creative expression of her red shoes, and she climbed up into those stairs that came down, and the doors closed like a gilded cage. All of a sudden, I won't say she sold out her soul, but the price was very high. I mean, there's nothing wrong for desiring a better life, a bigger life, one that is stress-free. But the question is, what is it going to cost you? See, the trappings is, what is it going to cost you? For her, it cost her her freedom, her independence, her self-expression. It cost her her ability to bring forth that spirit that was beginning to birth itself. In folklore, so often the older woman is the matriarch. She is the crone. She is the wise one. She is the carrier of wisdom. She is kind. She is the mentor of the ward that is coming up. She sees that wild spirit and helps it begin to express itself. She is honest. She is a little flirtatious sass thrown into her straightforward expression. And this is a good one to get picked up. But this girl got an old hag who was just concerned about calcifying her into her set ways. She is the representative of the status quo. This is the way it is. This is the one-minded attitude of the staunch church that you have to fall into and all of a sudden begin to fall prey. Have you ever fallen prey in your life to some of the trappings that look good? I'm out wandering around. My life's okay. I made some shoes, They weren't the best. They weren't the worst. But all of a sudden, something better comes along, and you let go of that creativity of your spirit, and you begin to go with the trappings of that which looks a little bit better, and you're hooked. People do it with relationships. They get into a poor relationship because of economic support and well-being. They do it with careers because it looks right, and they're willing to go, and all of a sudden, that wild creative gift that stirred your soul, that made you courageous and willing to act different. You know that one when you were young, you were willing to take risks and go for it, go and express yourself, say what was in your heart and your soul, be bold enough to wear red shoes or hats with fedoras and peacock feathers coming out of them, walking down the street in your bright colored clothes, and to go bold with your business ideas, to buy a house when you had no money. You were willing to risk it all because you had nothing to lose. You had this wild, courageous spirit inside of you that you were willing to sing and to speak and say things that you couldn't look back. I can't believe what was I thinking. And you weren't thinking. You were listening to the soul and the spirit that was wild within you. And it got domesticated. It got slipped into that collective one consciousness of status quo. What were your red shoes? That would be a question for your sacred circles. And ask you, what are your red shoes that you sold out for that relationship that seemed appropriate? The Jungian psychologist from Carl Jung talked about, it's about midlife that most people have sold out. That they have stepped into their world, this is comfortable and this is it. I'm going to be responsible, I'm going to take things as they come, and that is where they begin to live their life from that little sense of bubble and that wild risk of going for it and expressing that artistic zest, that creative urge that was inside that little girl, that is inside of you still to this day, got quieted. I won't ask you, but ask yourself, when did that happen? Or has that happened to you? That you're just trying to be okay in this world. And that wild spirit of your soul somehow has been squelched and quieted. Where was it? I won't say you sold out because it's not instant. It's not like it just happened on this one experience. It's kind of a gradual, I am now responsible, I am now accountable, which are all good things. But I'll tell you, the established individuals in the world, listening to a young spirit talking about, I'm going to go climb Mount Everest, hike through the Himalayas, sail around the world. I'm going to go wild. It's like there's part that she goes, yeah, go, friend, go. Go do it while you can. Do you know that spirit I'm speaking about inside of you that remembers when you used to do it? And when you see that young expression, life's going, you encourage that. That is what that mentor must do for that young spirit to help them get on the right path. But what happened with this old lady is she calcified her. She was bringing her into the church for her confirmation on the day of innocence. She went to get this little girl a nice outfit and new shoes instead of wearing black shoes with the white outfit. And they went to the cobbler. And they were checking out shoes. And the old lady, she doesn't see very well at this point in her life. And wouldn't you know what's sitting up there on that upper shelf? A pair of red shoes. So fine. Finer than the finest leather you can imagine. These shoes just sparkled like Dorothy's, if there was such a thing back then. But I mean, they were bright crimson, and they were ruby, sapphire, red, pomegranate. They called to this little girl, and Grandma couldn't see it. Or mom or stepmom couldn't see it. The cobbler got him down and put him in the bag and kind of winked at the little girl. Stepmom paid for it. Next day at church, she wore those red shoes so proud. And the whole church snickered. They pointed, they gossiped. They said even the idols and the statues frowned down upon those red shoes to the point that the gossip became so loud that even the blind stepmother heard what was going on and took those shoes away from her and said, you can never wear those shoes again. Next week, pull down those shoes, put them on. And as she was going to church, there was a guy at the front door, soldier in a short jacket, arm in a sling, and a little red beard. He said, can I dust off your beautiful shoes? I said, sure, absolutely. And he dusted off those red shoes and tapped the bottom of the soles with a jiggity jag, zag, zag, zag kind of song rhythm, kind of like Ruby does. It just makes you got to dance. On these shoes, all of a sudden they could feel the itch and wanted to dance in these shoes. And she's sitting in church, and all of a sudden these shoes are moving and grooving and wanting to dance. And it's like, oh my, I can hardly contain. She wasn't thinking about the service. Obviously, the sermon wasn't as strong as mine. Yeah. was not present for the sing-alongs, couldn't wait to get out. And on the way out, she saw that soldier with his arm in the sling and the little red beard and said, don't forget to let those shoes dance. Those are great dancing shoes. And with that, something came alive and her feet started dancing. And she was so excited. It was just ecstasy. And she danced through the streets and she swirled and twirled and dipped and danced. And she couldn't almost stop herself. And the stepmom said to the coach driver, go get her. And he ran after this little girl, finally grabbed her under the arms. You could just see her feet dangling and dancing behind as she was carrying this little girl, hair flying in the wind, hats down, as the stepmom, the coachman, tried to get the shoes off. They struggled. They finally got those shoes off of her feet. But I got to tell you, that's the kind of thing that happens. You got an urge at first. But when you try to suppress it, it keeps calling to you. And so she started kind of wearing those shoes unbeknownst to the stepmom. It's like when you're trying to lead a secret life, it's going to be known. You can't lead us two lives. You can't lead a secret life without it being revealed. You can't keep it in the closet. You're going to have to come out of the closet. And your wild spirit's a beautiful expression of the divine if you learn how to guide it and direct it, which is what you do with these urges, these yearnings, this wild spirit. But when you stuff it in there, it's like a spring. Okay, you stay there. Bang! Out it pops. If something's detonated, you can't get the cap back on it. What begins to happen when you're trying to lead the second life, when you're trying to keep in the closet, when you're trying to keep submersed in your consciousness, an aspect of your being that is who you are, what it's going to do is just grow in momentum and power and expression. And you may think nobody knows, but people know, and they are there. They see what is going on. And there is this something that is stirring in one's spirit. If you try to keep it quiet, the only way you can fit in and keep it quiet is if you're dead inside. That wild spirit, it doesn't just fit in unless it dies. It has to be given life. There's music in your soul, in your spirit, that has to be expressed in your unique ways. And when it isn't, you hit depression. I mean, the zoologists tell you can bring the animals from the wild into the most plush of zoos around. And so many of them will hit what they call animal depression. Their sleep patterns are messed up. Their mating choices are not going on. Their eating patterns are different. They're lethargic or they're aggressive. It's just who they are is gone when they take them from the wild and put it in. And Feral, this story is really about the feral spirit, is that wild spirit that's been domesticated that wants to come back. This girl's wild spirit wants to come back, but she's trying to be the good little girl. You try to be the good little girl so you can fit in. It is living a lie, and you're dying inside. And as long as you think you can be here one way and be there another way, that incongruency is going to come back and bite you. The thing about spirituality is the congruency of the spiritual expression in all of what you do. And if your spirit is dancing red shoes, let it out. If your spirit is one of writing, write. If it is singing, sing. If it is painting, paint. If it is artistic, it is architectural, it is amazing. Whatever it is, if it's not amazing, it's got to be out. But what happens is when you begin to twirl up those canvases and stick them in the tubes and stop going to that keyboard or the keyboards, you'll find that all of a sudden it begins to just die inside of you. It wants to come out. And you can't just pretend a little here and then be back another way. I fit in. Oh, I'm something else. It doesn't work that way. It is about being honest. And when you are not, what happens is you begin to learn to adapt and think that what is going on is right and normal. It's actually called I forgot what they call it, but I'll make it up in a second. I got it. I knew there's a lot in there. You should see what's going on in there. I can't even convey that to you. But it's normalizing the abnormal. That's what individuals will do when they find that they're being quieted or they're being shushed. They say, okay, well, this is kind of typical. It's normal. What they discovered with animals, they did a study when they watched individuals put up with abusive relationships. And why do people stay? They did this study with a dog. They put it in a big cage, and on the right side of the cage, they had the shocks. And on the left side, it didn't. So the dog figured out, you go to the left side, you don't get shocked. But then they started shocking the left side of the stage, so the dog went to the right side of the cage, and it was fine. But then they started just setting off these arbitrary shocks on both sides, and there was no place for the dog to go. And so what the dog did is it just laid down. But what's interesting then about the study is they opened the cage door, and the dog didn't leave. It had learned helplessness. And this is what is happening within our society. We begin to embrace a sense of helplessness as normal. We normalize the abnormal. All of a sudden, people go into a relationship that is abusive, that whether it is a mate and they stay with a drunken mate, or whether it is an employer, or they find themselves putting up with things in their life that should not be put up with, and they begin to rationalize within their mind, and so to numb it, they disappear. They do the drugs, the alcohol, or the bad sex, or whatever it is one does to escape, to be able to normalize. What happens is there's nothing left alive in there. There is a deadness. People begin to be suicidal. Not that often does the suicide happen. It does happen. But what happens is they are gone. They are dead inside. They are walking zombies. There is no life left in there. The drugs will maybe keep them awake at night, so they're creative and they stay awake till morning when the birds are singing. Think, this is fantastic. They're losing weight. Or maybe they're sleeping. Now they can sleep with no fears or nightmares. Or maybe there's drugs to help them not feel too much, which they were feeling too much of, or whatever. Rather than working with the rhythm, the natural wildness of their being, and the natural gifts that God and nature and spirit has given to us, we begin to lose touch with that reality because we are trying to fit into the status quo, the one-minded, one-consciousness edict that comes from I don't know where, but somehow we are being taught to be calcified or domestified or whatever we want to call it, rather than being taught to mentor in the unique gift that you have brought to this world. So there's no doubt that wild spirit inside of us wants to dance and to express itself. But if we have kept it quiet, it is a place of famine. And when that famine breaks, it is going to explode onto the scene. It is going to pop from that spring-loadedness of it. It is going to come forth with such a passion and ferocity that it will, of course, be one of addiction. It went from a simple yearning for my shoes to obsession that now I'm going to lead like a secret life that you don't know what's going on inside of me, to a place of addiction. And so they did get the shoes off from that little girl, and they stuffed them on the shelf and said, never, ever touch that again. But you don't do. Don't touch that again? Well, it's the first thing you want to do. And I don't care if you're a kid or an adult. Don't dance. Let me dance, and I don't even dance, But and so as the stepmom got very sick, the little girl could just hear it, the drug calling to her, or the red shoes calling. Hey, I'm here. Come take me out. Just a little bit. It's okay. A little more creative expression. Just try me. See, what happens is we have this natural instinct that knows when the enough is enough. But when we have been subduing for so long, we lose touch with the natural instinct. That doesn't just let us dance a little bit. Once it gets hold, after starvation, it's never letting go. And she takes those shoes down off the closet. She puts those shoes on her feet. I'm waiting for the phone to stop ringing. She puts the shoes on her feet. And she starts dancing, and her eyes just roll in the back of her head in total ecstasy. You ever seen that? Just boom, I'm there. Ah! And then all of a sudden, she can't stop the dancing. And the eyes roll back of her head again like total horror and disbelief, because all of a sudden, what was good isn't good anymore. She wants to dance to the left, and the shoes are taking her to the right. She wants to dance forward, and they're taking her backwards. All of a sudden, she no longer has control of this addiction that has now taken hold of her being and her life. These red shoes are dancing her in an uncontrollable way. And she goes off through the town, dipping and twirling and swirling and waltzing and doing all these things, and she has had enough. And she goes by that soldier with the red beard, devil, you probably figured out, scratching his beard. Those are some dancing shoes you got. Beautiful dancing shoes, young girl, and kind of winks just like the cobbler did, kind of in cohorts there. And all of a sudden she is dancing and dancing, can't stop, and dances through the graveyard. And the spirits say, you will dance until you die, until your skin is hanging off your bones. Dance until eternity. Dance, dance, dance. You'll dance through the town and go door to door, and people won't let you in because they fear their fate would be like yours. And she dances by a long procession of mourners, a funeral procession. And it was her stepmother, and she can't even stop her shoes to get in line to mourn the loss of her stepmother. And they continue to dance into the woods until she is exhausted and tired and just can't even stand the night and day pass forward. You got the picture. It's a mess. Finally, shoes are taken her through the woods. She remembers the executioner's house. And the axe on his wall starts shaking, and she dances into it, and she says, cut these shoes off, cut these shoes off. And he takes the axe down and he cuts the straps and can't get the shoes off, tries cutting the soles and he can't get it off. And finally she says to him, cut off my feet, my life is ruined anyway, cut off the shoes and my feet together. And the shoes keep on dancing with their feet in it. Hans Christian Andersen's story is this little girl even tries going back to church and the shoes dance in front of her. It takes a while to lose that addictive drive that is inside of you. It takes a while to transcend the reputation that was created from some of those mistakes. But cutting off your feet, don't you think that's a little exaggerated here? But most of these folklores are ending like this. And what I came to discover about these folklores, ending with such shock, cutting feet off, that's pretty big, is that it's to make the lasting impression. If we were to say, if you just wear shoes and you'll have an addiction to dancing, so take them off, who's going to remember that? But I ask you, tomorrow morning, I have a sneaky hunch you might remember about feet getting cut off if you were too addicted to something. Yes? And it's not just folklore. Have you watched TV lately? All those crime dramas and movies and blockbusters have graphic demembering and blood and making impressions. You watch the commercials, this guy, I shouldn't have smoked. And you see this picture of an old guy crunched over in a wheelchair talking out of a hole in his throat. I'm not going to smoke anymore. Or how about the person, texting. I text and drove, and then you pan in and here they are quadriplegic now, unable to function. It's going on today. It's not just folklore. And its purpose is to make that impression within inside of our soul and our spirit. This story is about the furled soul coming back. It is about that spirit that we have all had that at some time may have been quieted. And if you don't give it some life with some guidance, that this yearning to be creative, to write, to sing, to express yourself, all of a sudden is going to get louder until it's an obsession. I want it, I want it, I want it. And if it's not given freedom to express itself in a healthy kind of way, it will turn into an addiction that you can no longer control. An addiction that will dance you, that will control you, that will guide you. And all of a sudden, you are no longer in command of your own life. This is a powerful story that Hans Christian Andersen brought forth to us. A story that reminds us to be careful of that wild spirit, that the best thing you can do for the wild spirit is give it some space and to express that which you've come here to express. And the more you repress it, the stronger it gets. It is right to mentor that young one who is in your world into expressing their wild self, because all wild spirits need the gatekeeper. They need someone to assist them, not to shush them, to quiet them. But you are charged in this life to assist that new ward that has come across your life and your world with insight and blessings and revelation and the wisdom that you have gleaned from walking this world, because you may not be climbing Kilimanjaro anymore. But you know what? That individual is out there ready to do those wild things that your spirit so yearns to do. And you have some words of wisdom that will assist them to be able to come back and share their gifts for the next generation and that generation after that, if they do not lose their way to the wild addictions. God bless us as we do that. Hey, keep it going as we bring sweet baby Jay back to our stage.
Thank you so much. Oh, and thank all of you for having me here at Seaside. I appreciate it. Thank you. I always love coming down. And you have to listen to that God within us, right? All right, so this song that I wrote is about listening to the God within us. And I think sort of, I took from that. I hear it the second time. I listen to Reverend Kristen twice, right? So that I can soak it in. And because you miss a little something at 8 o'clock in the morning, your brain's not functioning. And you soak it in the second time. And so I listen to that, and it's about, for me, it's about listening to this, listening to that spirit within. When life gets too hard, more than you can bear, you can call your friends, say a prayer. But if that's not enough, let your mind run free. When you close your eyes, it's just you and me. Whispering nice, I will always hear you, don't think twice, day or night. Calm your fears, I will find you, kiss away all your tears. Call my name. Look into your heart, tell me, what do you see? Do you believe in miracles? Do you believe in me? I will hold you tight so you'll feel my love. Then you'll understand about angels above. Kiss away all your tears. Call my name. Yeah. So you just listen. I'll be drops from the sky when you walk in the rain, rays from the sun to melt away your pain. I'll be the still of the wind right before the storm, the glow of the fire to keep your body nice and warm. Call my name. listen to your spirit. Call my name.
Wow. Sweet baby Jay. Woo. And that is why you are one of Reverend Fran's favorites. That's for sure. Wow. Beautiful. Beautiful. That's heart stuff. At this time of our service, where we have the opportunity to unite together in our givingness and the sharing of our love and our offering, and this opportunity where we get to be a conduit through which that abundance flows. It is a time in which we get to make that statement out as to how the abundant expression of the divine operates within our life. As you give, it comes back. It's not why you give, but that is how it works. That is the law of circulation. All increases from the seed, and this is the moment in which you plant that seed, and life responds to that. That is the natural abundance that you are, that Seaside is. And so you get to be the activity of God in your world at the level of your consciousness. It's the way that works. So I invite you to listen to your heart and say yes to that wild spirit that wants to jump out and try something new at an expanded level of its expression. And so with that, I want to invite our ushers to come forward and say thank you to this wonderful crew. And hey, Jackie, did I understand it's your birthday and these beautiful flowers up here today are from you, honoring your birthday? Thank you very much. They are gorgeous, just like you. Thank you. Hey, thank you to all those that mail in your contributions when you can't be here on a Sunday. It is greatly appreciated, along with appreciation to the auto-tithers, those that regularly, systematically have that support moving from your world into Seaside, because we have regular obligations to keep our place going here. And so I share this prayer of gratitude with the most generous of spiritual communities, knowing that truly the blessings is unfolding in this moment. That abundant flow of Spirit truly is the expression of life that is moving through me, through you, through this moment in time and space, moving to uplift Seaside to that thriving level, that thriving vibration of just that power and that presence, that remembrance, that light of the true nature of your being, of everyone's being. It is truly Spirit, and it's in this sense of wholeness that all separation dissolves into the nothingness, and you become that clear conduit, that clear channel through which that infinite reservoir pours forth its blessings into your individual life in ways that are relevant and real. And in knowing this true connection with that infinite abundance of the divine, there is a deep sense of peace, a deep sense of security that is not dependent on anyone, anything outside, but rather a deep knowingness of the truth of who I am, you are. And it's in this deep knowingness that we send forth that which has blessed our life, knowing that it will continue to bless everyone it comes in contact with. Thank you, Father, Mother, God, for this opportunity to practice beyond the words, beyond theory, to be the action and the activity of the divine flow of abundance itself. And so it is. Amen. And together, let us read this affirmation of abundance, which is, Spirit continues to bless my world. Gratefully, I live as the giving expression of Spirit, opening the floodgates of the affluent flow of greater good as my life now. my guys from Seaside, just rocking the house. I stand before this beautiful bounty of love. I can just feel this wellspring of love and abundance and flow and ease and grace and just a deep sense of peace of knowing that there truly is an inexhaustible spring that resides within the heart and soul of each and every one of us. Truly, this is a divine tap into that abundance that is inexhaustible. And I know right now that which has been given just feels good and enriches, it blesses, and makes each and every one of the givers just truly uplifted for the activity. It is given in love. It is received in love. It is handled in love and good stewardship and put forth back into life so these blessings continue to ripple out into the world in which we serve. I say thank you, thank you, thank you, not to anyone, just a sense of grace, gratitude, and appreciation for standing in the truth of abundance. And so it is. Amen. So it is. This is Cindy Dietz. She is one of your 3-year board trustees individuals. She has been serving us for 3 years. My goodness, and doing a fabulous job with that. Hey, fabulous job. Sweet. Oh, my goodness. You are just so fabulous. Thank you, sweet baby Jay, just being here with us this morning, touching our heart and soul, getting our shoes dancing and good enough so we could stop to hear what's going on. So, Rebecca, always a blessing to have you step in here on a Sunday morning and share your wonderful gifts and talents. Dr. Christina, it's a joy to share a Sunday with you always. Giving us sound today is Ed. Giving us visuals today is Marv. Great job. And behind that camera, live streaming it to Reverend Fran in the world is Tim. Thank you very much, Tim. And lots of love to all those at home watching what is going on. And there's a lot going on here at Seaside. There's a couple classes starting up today. One of our beloved has returned home to share some of her gifts. A new minister in her right, graduating this year, is the wonderful Reverend Lori Mack, assisting you to just live that life that you came here to live. So be a part of her class. That's fabulous. I see Linda Light helping you get clarity and clear mind in her class. And I'm sure some yoga practices may be in there also. Yes, so a couple of wonderful classes starting up this week for sure. Also been hearing questions about our leaking roof. I just want to assure you, your board of trustees is on it. We have got the bids in. They are staggering in surprise, at least me, because I don't know roofs. We're probably going to do something about it in September, and if we don't, you'll be sitting here with umbrellas. And so you'll hear more about that. But, this morning it hadn't rained in a week and was still coming in. So thank you for those that are in that area and intolerant. Let's see, what else going on? Next Sunday, what's going on? Lori, tell me. Or don't you want to? I know I'm going to be wearing jeans next week. What are you wearing?
Everyone is wearing jeans. We're having a picnic next door.
Next door, over at the park. Okay, jeans and tennis shoes. Now, tennis shoes are going to tell a lot about me, we learned today, but that's okay. Anyway, so plan next. We'll provide, as you heard, the substance. You bring the side dishes. We're going to have games. We're going to have water balloons. We're going to have eggs. We're going to have mummy wraps. We'll have music. We'll have DJs. It's going to be a great picnic. Our annual picnic's been going on for years, and it's just fun for all of us, not just the little kids. It's the little kid in you. It's that wild spirit I was talking about. It's about bringing it forth, and if all of a sudden you haven't let out that wild spirit lately, you got to step through the threshold in the doorway and bring it forth. If you don't have feet, you got to crawl or pull yourself through that door so you can help furl that spirit back into action. So let the kid come out next week and play. You going to do that? That's about how many hot dogs and hamburgers we need. So got that? Okay, what I'm going to do is pray. Healing has been the thrust of this movement since its conception. This movement is based upon healing, transformation, the emergence of wholeness. It's not words. It is about living the truth. So breathe into this moment. It's always good for me to do. Slow down and feel and sense. Become aware. Experience that joy that's in this room, the laughter, the sound of the children, the excitement, the music, that expressiveness of the divine. Let us move it outside the head and the conceptualization, but become its eminent expression in the world in which you walk. For each and every one is that jewel in Indra's net. It is that channel through which the infinite pores. You are the vortex, the transparency. You are that which Spirit is expressing in this world. Clean up that screen and allow yourself to be clear. For the clearer you are, the clearer that Spirit is seen expressing as your life. The abundance happens, the love happens, the realization of those abusive relationships become apparent. For healing is the natural unfoldment of the emergence of the Spirit as your very life. And know right now that is natural to experience healing. And healing as you move into a greater sense of wholeness, and that sense of separation dissolves into the nothingness from which it came, because there is only one. All the great religions talk about that oneness. And as you step into that oneness, healing happens. There is a making right within the physical form. There is nothing that can deny that physical expression. Every cell, every tissue, every fiber, every bone, every aspect of your physical being can respond at any moment you animate that body. And know truly right now that that Spirit moves in, transforms, uplifts, purges out anything unlike itself, and what remains is a vibrancy in every cell of your being, a revitalization of your physical expression, a zest for living and passion. You step into a world with a deep connectedness and knowingness, and the world begins to come together. The crooked ways are made straight. There is a sense of success and fulfillment as you walk this world, and this eminent expression of your being, this emanation, this vibration allows your world to attract the good, the abundance, the life, the ideas, everything that is needed to walk through this Spirit, honoring that wild spirit of your being in an appropriate kind of way in this life in which you have come to share your true essence. There's nothing that can deny that but you. And I know right now that you begins to see from a mountaintop the possibilities that are infinite for your expression. And you know which path is yours to walk at this time. Grateful for the insights and the revelations and the physical healing, the spiritual healing, the emotional healing, that sense that all is well. I say thank you. Thank you for the prayer requests that have been put in, for giving all as practitioners an opportunity to know the spiritual truth. Grateful to know that the divine unfolds here and now as our very life. It's with a sense of gratitude for the divine right action, for the will of Spirit to have its way, that I let go. It's not my will and not my desire, but truly I am that transparency to speak and proclaim that divine will and expression in this moment, and know that it has access as our very life. So I say thank you for the healing. I say thank you for the words spoken. And I just live with a sense of gratitude, not to anyone, but just a sense of appreciation for the grace that is my life, your life, Seaside, here and now. And so it is. Amen.
There was a time in my life I thought I had to do it all for myself. I didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. I didn't know the love of God was at hand. But now I can say, if you are discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day, we've got to let it go. And this is what you have to say: I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. Said no more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Said I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. Said no more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit, 'cause I'm only here for God. Let's hear you sing, Seaside, please.
I let the Spirit run my life.
why. Yes, I'm only.
Go, Zane, go!
Said no more struggles, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the spirit. Yes, I'm only here for
Hey, and our affirmation is, I am free to live my life together. I am free to live my life. Touch your heart and say it like you mean it. I am free to live my life. Think about something important and say that. I am free to live my life. And our song of grace.
I'm living in love, living in peace. I'm living my life for what I believe. Through joys and through fears, in this world I walk. God's grace shines on me, and it shines on us all. We are living grace. We are living in grace. We are living in grace. We're living in love. We're living in peace. United we stand as one family. We honor all truth as together we walk. God's grace moves through me, and it moves through us all. We are living in grace. We are living